Good afternoon. Oh, that's, as George has mentioned, first thing is we are not the experts. And somehow we are trying to fill in and see what we can or what we have learned in taking our training to certain communities or different cultures around the world. My expertise is nowhere what you might know, but coming from India, I can speak from an Indian perspective. How does orality play a role in learning system? One or two examples. Now, orality may be defined by different people in different ways, but we are trying to address the issue in teaching the pastors. So especially how we can equip the pastors, how we can equip the leaders is what we are concerned about. Hopefully I'll get to show you one of the problem we have in taking the literature or taking the education to some people in India because either they don't have a script, in spite of all these years, all the advancements in technology, still there are many cultures or many communities, many people who do not have a script of their own. And when they do not have a script of their own, how do they learn? Now we know Bible and we know the material we have in many, many languages around the world, but I am specifically coming from Indian background because born and raised in India. They still don't have script, some people. If they have a script, there is a big problem with literacy also. Even though my mother tongue is Telugu, and I can walk across Andhra Pradesh and go after village after village after village, those who cannot read and write. Now the biggest challenge is, in order for them to learn, in order for them to be equipped, we cannot wait for them first for the literacy. If we want them to be educated first and then provide the training, we may never see that happen. Because there are a lot of communities around India, absolutely, they're born and die generations together, not even going through any education system. So because of lack of education, do we totally neglect them? Or do they have any part in the expansion work? Or we just totally ignore them? One of the problems we have to deal with constantly is because there is, again, as I said, I'm not very much aware of what is happening in other countries, but coming from Indian background, every time we travel, what do we do with these people? Just because they don't have any education, do we just skip that village or skip that town or skip that state and move on to somebody else who knows education? No, we can't, because if we go back and see, even when Jesus trained his disciples also, he picked up those, probably some of them were educated, but there was no literature, he never gave them books or internet, but it was more through discipleship and teaching them orally. So probably that's where, even this morning also, one of the, Dr. Gupta, I think he was mentioning that more than teaching and anything, discipleship process is what we are interested in. So some of the ways we do is we take and disciple them all the time. And also in the meantime, hopefully we are training them through what we have. So one of the things is, one of the questions that becomes a big problem, obstacle in literacy because of in training also. And different people have done different things, but we are constantly looking for what are the possible steps pastoral trainings may take to make learning more accessible to poorly educated pastors. And I'm sure each one of you coming from different countries, if you want to address that issue, you might have different ways. I know there are people who have done some video courses. I know there are some audio courses available, and they're only teaching through audio. Some people have taken time to put all the materials in the audio version of it, and they go just by listening only. They cannot read, they cannot write, but just by listening only. And I know there are video courses, some of them have been done 20 years ago. They are still available. I know there is a particular community in India, they just go through the entire Bible training through the video course. So there are means available, audio, video, but at the same time, we cannot neglect just because they do not have literacy. And I think this is one of the things, maybe we can take a few minutes afterwards. I'll give you a second question also. But as we work together, one of the things we always, then what are the resources available for pastor trainers to train pastors who have difficulty reading and writing? I think those are the two questions I have. But we are going to take some time and discuss, because each community, each country, and each place might have different ways of doing that. And as I said, in India, yes, we do something audio and something video also, but in your languages, you might be doing something different. This is a place, I think, where one good thing, this is the first time I am attending a conference like this, just overwhelming to see so many countries, so many nationalities to come together and pull the resources together. This is one area where we can exchange and discuss among ourselves and see what is available in your community, what is available in your country, or what have you done to educate people, especially taking them to pastoral training. And we are not really going to address the entire literacy thing because we are not there yet, but at least we want to address in our area, how can we equip our pastors, those who do not have any literacy, and how much part does the orality come into play. And I'm sure my friends, after I am done, they're going to go into different areas of orality, where how they're using. One quick thing, if I can show you what is the problem. Even my father's example, he's a retired principal, but never typed anything, never used a computer. He can read and write. Now, when we have so much information online, the modern technology, when we have so much information available, internet class and everything, he can never use that one because he had never used a computer. And even for those who use the computers, in my mother tongue, Telugu, I don't know, I see one of them, I don't know how many Telugu people are there. In spite of all the advancements in technology, we still cannot type properly. I mean, just like the way we type in English. I hope I can show you a demo of that, how hard it is just to type one sentence in Telugu. In order to type in Telugu, maybe he can correct me, you have to know English. Because I'm using an English keyboard, and Telugu script is totally different, and we don't have a keyboard. So in order to type Telugu, I need to know English also. So when we go into interior place in Andhra Pradesh, yeah, people can read and write Telugu. They know Telugu, but they cannot use the technology because they can never type in English unless they know English. So one of the problems, in spite of all the technology, in our culture, in our community, especially my language, my mother tongue, which is spoken, I think it's the fourth biggest language spoken in India. In spite of all the technology advancement, we still have a problem because somewhere we need to address that issue also. And definitely, we are not going to go there because it's not ours, but I will see if I can, do I have some time to? I'm going to, pardon me? What we can do is now, I will show you later once we are done with the groups, but we'll take 5 or 10 minutes time. If we can divide into different groups, maybe a groups of 6 or 7 people. And we are going to just discuss these two questions here. One is, what are possible steps pastoral trainers may take to make learning more accessible for poorly educated pastors? So if somebody can do that one, what are the possible steps we can take? Then after a couple minutes, I'll put the second question. So if we can just turn around with your neighbors, maybe form a group of 5 or 6 people, and what is working, what are the steps you can take in your community or in your language or in your country, what are the possible steps we can take, especially we are addressing the pastoral trainers. We're not going to go through the education system, but pastoral trainers.